Hi guys, in this video I'm going to give you a short introduction into Notion. So if you create your Notion account and you signed up, you're probably going to get an empty page. And the general system of Notion is it's kind of a mixture of Word, a bit of like pages. It's also like a ticketing system like Jira. So it kind of got everything from every other company, and it's kind of a very fun mixture to use. So if you get started, you have this blank page and you can add an icon, which is kind of nice to see. You also can add a cover, which is then a picture you will see up here. If you change the cover, you can either choose one from the gallery, you can upload one, or you can choose Unsplash. I'm gonna use one of the James Webb Telescope ones as they are quite pretty. So the first thing you do, you give this page a title. I just call this one, it's the example page. Now you can do different things. So for example, if you just want to take like quick notes, whatever, you can just start writing and it's completely intuitive what to do now. But there are a lot of other options. You can either click on the plus or you write a backslash and then you get all the blocks you can embed in this page. So you can use a simple text. You also can embed another page. You can use a to-do list. To-do list is, as a to-do list is, it's a to-do. If you then click enter, it creates another to-do. You can check the to-do. And yeah, if you, as mentioned before, if you use the enter, it creates another to-do. If you just click here, you're not in a to-do list anymore. Again, let's click on the plus and see what else we can create. You have different styling types, like a heading. I mean, heading 1, 2, 3 is just about the size of the heading. Yeah, you can add a table, which is quite nice. And you have different things like bullet list, numbered list. A quite interesting thing is the toggle list. A toggle list, we can just call it toggle list. And if you now hit enter, you see again it creates another toggle list. But the cool thing about a toggle list is it's a list you can open and close. So for example, we write here, this is a list, and now we can close it, which makes a page way easier to use if you use those toggles, because then you don't have to scroll endlessly if you have a lot of content. Yeah, that's a toggle list. Another interesting thing is a quote. A quote again is just a design thing, the same with the divider. You also can link to another existing page and you can create a callout. So those Notion AI things are only included in your in the premium version of Notion, so we're going to skip them, as I assume you're just getting started and you're not using the premium version yet. So yeah, you also can add media. You can embed bookmarks. You can embed videos. I mean, you can use YouTube videos. Audio, you can code. If you use code, you can choose what type of code it is. For example, the default option is it's a Notion formula. But you also can use something like HTML. Yeah. And then it's an HTML code line. So where have we been? We've been down here. You can also add files. Yeah. Now we come to the quite interesting thing, which are databases in Notion. A database, there will be a separate video which goes really into details about databases, but the interesting thing is about databases compared to a normal table that you can run operations on them and you can really use them in a quite efficient way. So all of them are technically the same type of database, it's only a different view. For now, you can just choose a table view and you can later still add one of the other views. So for example, we choose table. Now we can choose if we either want to link to a database which already exists or we want to create a new one. In this case, we create a new one. And now you have the database. I just call it database. Usually give it a name. And the thing here is, that's what I just talked about, you can add another view. So for example, if you have on the first tab, you have the table view, you maybe want the timeline view as well. And as you can see, it's the same database, but it has now two different views. So the general idea of a database is that you create those entries. For example, we call this, let's call it apples. Maybe it's a shopping list or whatsoever. And now we can give text to it. For example, apples in this case is a fruit. The nice thing is if we now enter here lemons, we can just click on the tag and it's a fruit as well. You can give it a date, probably maybe the date when it's due to get the fruit, whatsoever. I mean, we do not have to give a date. The nice thing is you can just delete all of those basic ones, delete the property, and then you don't have a date anymore. And you can add way more types. One of my favorite type for this kind of shopping list is a checkbox. So as you can see here, we now added a checkbox. We can move it to the front, and now we have a cute shopping list. The other types are quite diverse. You have a text, you have a number, you have a select. So yeah, the difference between select, which is the tag here, and multi-select is if you choose select, you can pick only one. If you have multi-select, you can pick several ones. For example, it can be a fruit and it can be, I don't know, food, whatever. You can give it a status and date. You can add a person, files, media, URL, whatsoever, you name it. There are a lot of things you can use, and you even can link it to a connection. So Notion is quite open with its API, and for example, I got my Google Drive linked, connected to Notion, so I could link one of my Google Drive files to this database, which makes it quite interesting to use because it connects all of those dots. So yeah, another quite interesting thing, one example, if you now let's use the date again and let's choose today, and if we go on the timeline, we see that today the apples are due. So yeah, those views are linked, and if you change something here, change here as well. Another interesting thing about the database are filters and the sort option. Yeah, what can you do with those? For example, if I check my apples, it makes no sense that they're on this list anymore because, I mean, I bought them, I don't need them on my shopping list anymore. So you add a filter and you choose checkbox, and checkbox is checked. Then you see it just keeps the one that's checked, but in this case we only want the unchecked one, and now the unchecked one is gone, the checked one is gone, sorry for that, and we only have the unchecked ones. If we clear the filter, the one is back. This is quite useful for if you want to create like a nice view, have a nice overview. Yeah, just add the unchecked ones in this case, and then you have the unchecked ones. Another thing you can do is you can sort. So for example, in this case it makes absolutely no sense because we have only one row, but you could, if we have another one, let's call it apples again, and the due date of our lemons was on May 20th, and the due date of our apples is on the 23rd, and we now click on sort and we sort by date, and now we use descending. We can see the sorting change, but it probably makes more sense to make it ascending. Yeah, and you can see it sorts automatically, and every row we add now will use this sorting system as well, so you always have a nice overview. So yeah, what else is there to know about Notion? We've been just down here with the databases. As mentioned before, yeah, I most of the time start with a table view and then add one of the other views. Yeah, but do it however you prefer it. Then you have this AI block again. Again, you need a premium account to use them, so I will skip them. And you also have those advanced blocks, so you can create a table of contents, an equation, which is probably important if you're using Notion for uni or whatsoever. and you can create buttons. There will be another videos about buttons and also breadcrumbs, which is where you can have the location of a page. Distinct blocks are kind of limited in the free version of Notion, so I think you only have 3 synced blocks, so I probably would not use them. Yeah, and you also can create columns, for example, if you want. 3 columns, you can see, you can write here test, and then you have here another one. And it's a bit like a table, but it does not have the features. It's primarily a visual thing, which is pretty, but yeah. And finally, we can scroll down and you can see, and we also can, again, have a code mermaid, and you also can have embeds. Embed is quite a lot of fun. As mentioned before, Notion is open to a lot of other services. For example, you can embed a PDF, a Google Maps page, whatsoever. You can embed tweets. There are a lot of things you can embed. For example, I quite often embed a mirror board, and then you can even use the mirror board in Notion, which is really, really good. Yeah, as you see, there are a lot of embeds. You even can use like Jira or Trello, which technically kind of competitive products to Notion. But yeah, it's good to have them in here. So yeah, I think that's it for the beginning. As mentioned before, Notion is kind of a playground. Just start playing around with it. And yeah, I think the most important thing is to really understand the power of databases, and then I guess you're ready to go. Thank you so much.